Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today, giving you all the headlines we can find that are worthy and relevant from our friends across the pond at boxing247.com. I'm going to start today's show off with a little bit of a update from our friends down in Massachusetts, Granite Chin Promotions, who put on their tribute night of boxing to Jimmy Farrell, called the Jimmy Farrell Fight Night. Jimmy, if you didn't know, was a great trainer for probably, I think, 4 decades out of Quincy, Massachusetts, and unfortunately passed away this past August of cancer, sadly enough. But the boys at Granite Chin put on a night of boxing, called it the Jimmy Farrell Fight Night, and I'm going to give you the results. Here we go. The only undefeated fighter, by the way, on this card was heavyweight. Did I say heavyweight? Heavyweight Kirk Wilmot. He's fighting out of Brockton, Massachusetts. And he opened the show with a pounding of Akil Prote, who's now 0-2. Kirk, for his part, is now 2-0 with 2 knockouts. On his way to the top, I'm sure. All right. Next up was New York light heavyweight Scott Bombs Lampert. And he came into the ring true to his nickname against Michael Medeiros, firing bombs from all angles against his overmatched opponent, and won. Medeiros was decked 4 times. The last setup by body shot, followed quickly by perfect left-right combination to the head, resulting in a second round knockout. Pro debuting Stephen Jason Davis is now 1-0 with 1 knockout. Fighting out of nearby Brockton, and junior welterweight Luciano Santos barely got started when Santos was suddenly decked, fell awkwardly, and was unable to continue at the 51-second mark of round 1 due to an injury. Wow. But according to Chris Triadi, the owner of Granite Chin, he said, Anthony and Julian saved the show. People saw a fight they'll remember for years. Congratulations to Anthony for coming on top and opening things up for his future. And Julian is not done. So he's talking about the headline, the main event here. Let me quickly go to the top here. And by the way, a portion of the show's proceeds were donated to the Old Colony Hospice in Farrell's memory. So that's really good. Tridy said, Jimmy meant a lot to me and so many others in New England boxing. We wanted to honor him in a special way, and I felt naming a Pro-Am show after him was the best way to pay tribute to Jimmy. We plan on making this an annual event. Good for him. So let me just go back to the main headline. Love this line. Styles make fights, and the main event match, an aggressive brawler, Andriozzi against a pure boxer, Baptiste. Andriozzi, out of Swansea, took the fight to Woburn's Baptiste in the opening round, landing more damaging punches, switching often between an orthodox and southpaw stance. The entertaining Andriozzi kept up the pace, peppering Baptiste with a wide assortment of punches. In the third, Andriozzi kept beating Baptiste to the punch, as well as showboating in a display of confidence against a growingly frustrated Baptiste, who did get in a few solid shots in the fourth to get back in the fight. Baptiste started letting his hands go more, cracking Andriozzi several times during some exciting exchanges. Andriozzi rested and went back to what was so successful for him during the first half of the fight, working off the jab and moving forward. The title belt seemed to be up for grabs going into the 6th and final round, in which the 2 fighters went toe-to-toe to the end. So Andriozzi is 4-2 with 1 knockout, and he won by a majority decision against Baptiste. And that was for the Massachusetts middleweight title, by the way. This fight was supposed to happen back in August, but Andriozzi fell sick just hours before the show, and the show was canceled. So there you go. Some news out of Massachusetts in honor of Jimmy Farrell and the trainer who coached so many successful amateurs and pros in the Boston area. It should be noted, and I will note, there were some amateurs fighting. I don't see their names listed here. So there were 4 amateur matches. 4 amateur matches featuring local boxers prior to Kirk Wilmot got his knockout in the heavyweight division. Did I say heavyweight? Alrighty, moving along to the heavyweight division. Bakhodir Jalolov believes he could be undisputed world heavyweight champion within 2 years. The hammer-fisted Uzbek rates Tyson Fury as a leading big man in boxing now, but is confident that he will, one day soon, take over from the Gypsy King. Jalolov, as you might remember, is the 2020 Olympic champion. He has won all 11 of his professional contests by a shuddering knockout and looks to add American Curtis Harper to his hit list this upcoming weekend in California on the undercard of the Jose Zepeda versus Regis Prograis fight, which we previewed yesterday. 28-year-old is seen by many boxing insiders as the heir to the heavyweight throne and has warned his rivals that he possesses a potent combination of devastating punch power allied with movement, footwork, and boxing intelligence. He said, "I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world, and Alexander Usyk is very good. Fury, for his size, he moves unbelievably. He has unbelievable movement, and once again, he is big and heavy. Usyk is a great boxer, but obviously he's small for the weight class. For me, I'm not a hero in Uzbekistan for winning the Olympics. I'm not there yet, but once I become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world at that time, maybe they'll call me a hero. Maybe it's not going to happen tomorrow, and maybe it's not going to happen next year, but in 2 years, God bless, it's going to happen. I'm not just a puncher. Of course, I can punch, and I know that I have power because every time I land, people go down. But I have more than that. I have great footwork, feeling of distance, timing, and speed." So, good for him. He says, by concluding, he says, "A long time ago, I had a nickname, the Uzbek Klitschko, and soon he'll know my name and who I am." All righty. Up next, speaking of heavyweights, former heavyweight title challenger Dillian Whyte looks to get back in the win column when he takes on unbeaten American Jermaine Franklin, which should be a really good fight at the Wembley Arena. Now, you might recall Whyte went toe-to-toe with Tyson Fury, but got knocked out, I believe, in the 6th round. And that was in front of a whopping 94,000 people at Wembley Stadium. This fight is taking place at the Wembley Arena, which I believe is in that 12,000 range. But anyway, right, so here we go. Franklin, by the way, he's 21-0. He's turned professional in 2015, dutifully completed his learning curve in the paid ranks. However, managerial issues forced the Michigan native to endure a 2.5-year layoff, which ended this past May when Franklin stopped Rodney Moore in the 5th round of a stay busy bout. "I'm super hyped to fight in the UK," said Franklin. "They love boxing. I plan on making a statement when I beat Dillian. I want them to be loud and love my boxing style and have them embrace me as the people's champ. The world will see the real Jermaine Franklin Jr." Right on. Okay. It's also known as the 989 Assassin. Let's have a quick look at what they had to say during their media conference. This is a fight that Holly Donovan previewed for us on her last show. Dillian Whyte says on his new trainer, Buddy McGirt, "What he does is good, and it's really interesting because I'm a fighter where I'm strong and fit, physical, and I look to be rough. I can punch. A lot of coaches just work on that, but Buddy does things differently. He says you don't need to chop down the house with one punch all the time." All right. So on his approach to the Jermaine Franklin fight, he says, "I'll approach this fight the same goddamn way I approach every fight. You know me. I approach all my fights with only one thing in mind, and that's to try and end it." He was also asked about a potential Anthony Joshua rematch. And he says, "I don't care about the Anthony Joshua fight now. I'm focused on Franklin. There's been pressure in all of my fights. I weren't even an ABA champion. People forget I had 7 amateur fights. I was out there selling tickets hours before I was due to fight. I'm not an Olympian, and I was never on Team GB. Every fight for me has always been a must-win my whole career. It's just another I've got to deal with. I've become quite used to that. There's pressure, but that's okay. Great. I've gone and beat guys that I shouldn't have beat. On potentially becoming a world heavyweight champ, he says, I definitely want to become heavyweight champion of the world, and I'd love to get the opportunity to avenge my 2 losses. I've already avenged 1. I'd love to get the opportunity to avenge the other 2. Jermaine Franklin followed with his comments on his preparations for the fight, which are taking place in the UK. We flew over about 3.5 weeks ago, and I'm just getting some good work in, learning some stuff from world champions. I pay attention to a lot of little things, little insights that will help improve my game. He was asked, do you punch hard enough to put a dent in Dillian Whyte? I definitely punch hard enough, he said. I just feel like everybody's sleeping on me. They don't know what's in store. Remember, he's undefeated. On being the underdog, he said, this is boxing. I haven't had that many top-level fights in my career. I've had a couple of layoffs, about to prove what I can do. And he is asked about targeting Dillian Whyte with an uppercut. He said, I mean, if it positions itself, then I'm going to take it. That's not the number one punch I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure that's what he's expecting. He's expecting me just to come out there and throw Hail Mary of uppercuts. I've got pretty good outside game too. Once I get my timing, I've got pretty good game. Once I time the jab, I'll be all right, inside or outside. And whether he's looking forward to fighting Anthony Joshua, he said, it's a huge pot of gold, but I'm laser focused on Dillian Whyte. I try not to think too far ahead in the future. I just like to handle the task that's in front of me. So that's going to be a good clobber fest, and we're all looking forward to that result. I'm sure we'll hear it probably on either Cedric Ben's show, The Scorecard, or Knockout of the Week on Sunday. Anyway, David Allen versus Thomas Carty. Did you read or see Mike Gore's comments on Thomas Carty the other day? I mean, I believe Thomas Carty's also undefeated. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. That's all the news I got for you. Thanks for joining. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us for Knuckle Up coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with Mike Gore and Cedric Ben.